All right, let's continue this.
My rule is you don't really know it until you've heard it about 7 times. If it's challenging music, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't know if that was I'm sure there are some musical super geniuses who don't need that length of exposure to get it, but
I don't get it. Well, maybe 2 or 3 with some people, but to me, I want to drink it in. I'd sit with headphones and a CD, and that's becoming very old fashioned, but that's the only way that I can really do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing too, so how you expose yourself to continually to that pattern. And then you need a certain degree of familiarity with it. Mm-hmm. So it still retains some novelty, and then you really fall in love with it. And then if you listen to it a tremendous number of times, in some sense, you tend to exhaust it. Although the greater the piece of music, in my experience, and maybe this is a marker for depth and quality in music, the greater the piece of music, the longer it takes to exhaust it.
Yeah, and if it's a really great piece of music, it's never exhausted in my experience. But yes, that's true. If it's an okay piece of music on the level of, say, a hot dog, you'll need 20, 21, and then you've kind of gotten past that. And you look 20 years later and you realize, wow, that fell out of the rotation, and you sort of realize why, as opposed to the things that never fall.
So this is my next point on this. This is funny. Ryan and I were talking about this before the podcast. It's like, as you get older, you're just like, you don't hate things as much anymore. And like those bands that you listen to in your adolescence, you're just like, Limp Bizkit's one of those for me. Korn. I never go back and listen to those albums anymore because I'm just like, I'm not that pissed off anymore.
Yeah.
Hot dog music.
There's certain times in your life that need certain music,
and I feel like Japanese music for me is much more positive. And I know I've shit on Love Bites by accident at one point, and then when I sat and thought about it, I'm like, why? It's not cheesy or corny. It's just positive vibes that I'm not used to. And I came back and I said, hey guys, I misspoke. At the time I took it as, because sometimes it's easy to slip into the negative side of things, and you're like, no, positive lyrics can be good also. And I was like, I remember at that moment too, I'm like, dude, you fucking love baby metal. It's nothing but positive lyrics. So I went back and listened to the Love Bites song again, and with a different perspective, because it's easy to slip into that, So I thought that was a cool point that he brought up. And I think Japanese music really they have their depressing side of it, right? We have Darren Gray that talks about certain things or motives and what's going on in the world. You have your political kind of music like that, or you have your more like serious topics. But I think there's a lot of positive music also from Japanese bands. I think there's more positive than negative, I would say, with Japanese music. But that's just from what I've listened to so far. Maybe I haven't listened to enough. I
don't know. I feel like it's the culture in general, because like if you play like a video game or watch a Japanese movie, a lot of the time honor is a huge deal, and family is a huge deal. It's like Fast and Furious movies over here. It's all about family, right? Like, but that's just the Fast and the Furious series. Over there, it's like half the movies I've ever seen that come from Japan are like, we're all about family, we're all about honor. So I think that kind of translates into the music area with the lyrics in a more positive, let's all come together sort of way, rather than America, where I think that we have a little bit more of a nihilistic approach.
I want to mention something real quick that Adam Young said. He's like, I still listen to old bands like that, but more for nostalgic reasons. I totally agree, but I only can listen to like one song. I can't like put on a whole album anymore like I used to. It's like with AC/DC,
what's Ryan
same
got?
thing.
right? Just trying to be polite.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wanted to touch on something I thought was kind of important. What the other guy was saying, he's talking about, if it's more complex, it takes more time to enjoy it or dissect it or digest it, is kind of what the analogy he made. But the thing I'm finding with these bands that we're discovering is they approach it the same way. It takes like multiple listens to grasp the whole concept of it, but they're also fun to listen to. I think music he was alluding to that was more complicated is classical music and stuff, and jazz and stuff, which obviously can be great, but it's not necessarily fun to listen to. Like it's not hooky. It's complex. It's beautiful, but it's not fun to throw on and listen to it.
Not catchy. And
like you can't. It's hard to do that and be able to just dissect the music and find layers and layers of things. Stuff like Sokoninu, where it's insanely complex music, but it's so goddamn fun that you can just listen to it passively. And then if you actively want to, you get this whole other aspect of these bands. So
that's how I see Unseen World.
That's a big distinction between kind of what they're talking about and how we're seeing these bands.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't know this style of music. That's another thing. Like, they probably haven't. I don't even know if they know what progressive metal is. I mean, even in the States, there's some badass progressive metal bands, who knows if they've ever even heard them before, so that's their reference of music, right? Kind of thing.
What did you guys think about his, what's the other guy's name? McWhorter?
John. Yeah. John McWhorter.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you guys think about for a song that is complicated, you need to listen to it 7 times?
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier. I agree with that because there's songs here on that we've done, and actually Bandmates specifically, that's happened to me a couple times with Puzzle and a couple other songs where I didn't like it at first and then I liked it way afterwards.
Well, do you think 7 is is 7 your key number? Like,
no,
I don't know.
For me, it's 3. I would definitely be 3. 7 would be like if it's like really out. Oh, Soka Naru would be my 7. I would need 7 listens.
Sonic Hidori, dude. That was a song that I was initially wasn't too cool with. I was like, okay, I can appreciate it, but I didn't like it. Now I absolutely love it. And I still hear shit in that song, and it's been, I don't know how many fucking times I heard it. I mean, it depends. You can understand a song by listening to it a few times, but with Bandmate, it's at least 5 times if you just want to pick one of them and try and dissect what they're doing, So there's each member, and then how it all fits together is another time, and then how these two fit together. These two, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think it depends what sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Depends what your goal is while you're listening to. Like, if it's just wrapping your head around what's going on, like, obviously won't take as many listens, but if you're learning the song, if you're really trying to get inside it, then that's going to take longer. I mean, for me, learning a song takes way more than 7 listens, I would say.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And you're learning, when you're learning a song, you're learning part by part, right? It's not like you're learning all 5 minutes at the same time. So
the overall.
You're going to be re-listening to parts over and over and over again. And that's when you're going to really get a firm grasp on what's going on in the song individually, when you segment it into parts.
Toolhead Jr.'s like
once and you love it.
Toolhead Jr.'s like, with Bieber, I give it 0 listens.
Rosie.
That's fair. Oh, I want to give
you might love it, man. Maybe you gotta check out some Justin Bieber. I know it's one of Ryan's favorite artists, but
Justin Bieber puts out hot dogs.
He puts out
maybe hot dogs that have already been fished out of the trash. Thank you, Mudo, for the 1,000
yen super chat. We appreciate it, man.
Yen, I believe. Yeah.
For more Gaijin goodies like you just saw, be sure to subscribe to the Gaijin Guys podcast and turn on all notifications to be part of the live stream every Sunday. You can also find us wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, etc. You can find even more exclusive content and reactions on our Patreon, patreon.com/Gaijin Guys. I'll see you there. Adios.